I didn't mean to
I
interrupt
saw
you, but
it. I saw it
there's a
flying
bug.
around.
There's a bug flying around here. I need
Smack
to
him.
get him.
Oh!
We
Oh!
got him. Oh, let's go.
Wait, do you think we're gonna get? Wait, we think we're gonna get like struck down for like killing someone on?
It's a bug. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the HogCast. We have now done it for 3 straight weeks where me and my boy, Will Woodson, he's going to put himself in any second now. We've been talking about the latest in Razorback sports and everything else in between week to week. And we're back at it again. And another unfortunate L for the Razorbacks this week.
Yeah. Not really many words to describe this one. Just ugly. That's all
Yeah.
I'll put it. Well, you'll hear my rant in about a couple minutes. Just be ready. Hold your
Right.
ears, probably.
And if you guys are new to the show, go ahead and down below, hit that red subscribe button if you haven't hit it already. First of all, before we get too far into it, you guys absolutely killed it on the second episode. Y'all outdid yourselves in views in about 8 hours than the first episode did in a week. We doubled in subscribers. We actually just barely barely did a little more than doubled. We had 24 subscribers at the time we posted the second episode, and then we ended the week with 60. So you guys did a really great job, and it was a lot of support coming in. We were really excited about all that, and now the goal is to get 100 by episode 4. So show that same support again. If you guys aren't subscribed already, go down below, hit that red button. It only takes a few seconds, and also make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss when the latest episodes of the HogCast come out. They don't come out on Thursdays or Fridays, one of the two. Just expect it then.
Let's go ahead and get into this this poll.
All righty.
You go ahead and say it. Go ahead.
All right. So listen, I'm going to start from 25. Normally when we do the poll, hey, cue in all the fireworks and stuff if you didn't do it. I don't even know. I didn't watch the last episode, but put in sound effects or
didn't watch his own episode?
No. Put in sound effects or something cool. I don't care. The poll is here. The poll considers everything, and the poll is the poll.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where I'm going with that. But okay, listen, we always start the show off with our top 25 rankings. We have some different ones this week. Only one of them though. Normally everything else we really agree on, but we have a ranking disagreement that is really going to kind of get into a debate. So we're normally kicking off from 1 to 25, but we're going to go from 25 to 1 because we got some big changes this week. So at 25, Louisville, 24, Kentucky. They played some really good football and blew out Florida. At 23, Fresno State. 22, LSU. I'm disappointed with everything about the LSU Tigers besides the offense. 21, Missouri. 20, Tennessee. 19, Duke. 18, Utah. 17, Miami. 16, Ole Miss. 15, Oregon State. 14, UNC. 13, Washington State. 12, Oklahoma. 11, Alabama. 10, Notre Dame. 9, USC. 8, Oregon. 7, Washington. 6, Penn State. 5, Florida State. 4, Ohio State. 3, the Georgia Bulldogs at 3. At number 2, the Michigan Wolverines. And at 1, the Texas Longhorns. Hook them. Listen,
this is the Arkansas podcast.
I don't care.
You're about to get
I got the shirt on.
You're about to get blacklisted.
I am so convinced. I'm a believer in Quinn Ewers. He had me last year, but now this Texas team is complete, and this is a team that can go on and win the national title. Listen, no disrespect to Georgia, and they do deserve a number 1 spot. But these last 2 weeks, they have really been put on upset notice against South Carolina and Auburn, taking it down to the last minute against unranked SEC teams. When you're the number 1 seed, it doesn't matter if it's conference play or any other team. You should be blowing out unranked teams, and Georgia has not done that. The only reason I don't put Michigan at 1 is because Texas has played some higher worthy opponents. They just took down ranked Kansas this week, obviously taking down Alabama early on in the season in week 2. Texas and Oklahoma play in the iconic Red River rivalry. That is a mouthful, first of all. That's so hard to say for me.
I'm surprised you got that first try. I'm surprised.
I don't know how. That's so hard for me to say. But they face down in what could be one of the greatest ones we've seen in a while. Dylan Gabriel and the Oklahoma Sooners are playing out of their minds, and Quinn Ewers and the Texas Longhorns are doing it as well. This could be a offensive showdown that could be going down to the last minute. It's going to be a fantastic game.
First off, I just want to go ahead and say this. Texas, there's obviously a deep down hatred for the boys in burnt orange. You will never catch me rooting for Texas.
Did you root for him week 2 though?
No, I did not. I wanted Alabama to
Wow.
win. I
He
wanted
rooted for
Alabama to win.
Alabama. He's rooting for an in-conference Alabama Crimson Tide. Wow.
Texas is in conference now. Yeah, I said it. They're SEC.
Not till next year. Not till next year.
But they are not the number one team. The number one team in the entire nation is the Michigan Wolverines. You
No
could go
chance.
ahead. You can go ahead and say schedule and all that thing, all that stuff. I get it. Texas beat Alabama. Texas beat a fraudulent Kansas team, which we just found out. I hate to say it, and I hate to disagree with you, but they're just not. They're not the best team in the nation.
I mean, who has Michigan played this year?
Okay, I'm
East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, the Rutgers, and Nebraska.
But look at this. Look at this. There has not been a game. There's not been a game that Michigan's played so far where they have allowed more than 7 points. They have not allowed a team in double digits yet. If that, I'm already sold on that first thing. And then you look at their offense, and J.J. McCarthy's been playing also out of his mind. I don't understand how he's not getting more Heisman hype.
Because Michael Penix and Caleb Williams exist.
Yes, but I'm really liking what Michigan's doing. I'm sorry.
I feel like it's a very quiet coverage of a very good Michigan team.
Yeah,
I feel like
I agree with you.
them.
And I said this. I said this last week.
Someone said this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but someone said that they play the most beautiful, boring football ever.
Oh yeah. So they're like if Iowa was good. That's what
Iowa
they
was
are.
good a few years ago. Remember when Iowa was like 2?
Yeah, that's like what they're playing right now. They're gonna put up 30 points, and they're not gonna let you score more than 10. That's how they've been playing.
Okay. We can use that same argument for Texas though. Besides Alabama, Rice put up 10, Wyoming put up 10, Baylor put up 6, Kansas put up 14, and they were ranked at the time. Bama put up 24, and they beat them in Tuscaloosa too. That shows the integrity of Texas, and we know that Quinn Ewers is him. We've known that, but now obviously going into just use the Bama matchup for reference. Last year he didn't get to finish that game because he got hurt so early on. They were unranked and they only lost by 1. Had Quinn Ewers played that game, they would have won. And that was a revenge game for Quinn Ewers. And now this Texas football team, they're clicking on all cylinders. And I wouldn't be shocked if they're the ones hosting or hoisting that trophy come January.
Let's be honest here. If Texas and Michigan were to play on a neutral field, who do you think is going to be favored? Who's going to be favored in that game? It's going to be Michigan. Because one, they've already played in the big games, right? They've got a bunch of guys returning, McCarthy, Corum, both of those guys.
They have a ton of returners.
Yeah. And they played in the freaking playoffs.
And they arguably have one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah. So, and then you add J.J. McCarthy, who's been another, like I said, a guy who's been super, super underrated, not getting enough love in the Heisman race.
He has not. No, I agree.
If Texas and Michigan were to play right now, I'm taking Michigan.
I would take Texas. Their Texas offense is so electric and dynamic. Listen, hey, maybe come January, we'll get to sit down and we'll get to break down or predict one of these games, and maybe it gets physical. Who knows? Maybe that's an episode we do like on set somewhere, and then we just box at the end of it because.
Hey, at least we both agree with Georgia being third. I did not like how they played on Saturday, playing down to their opponent once again. It's been the same thing over and over with Kirby Smart. Right. You've never really seen a whole bunch of doing what you're supposed to do. It's always barely win.
Now listen, Georgia's a team who obviously has won back-to-back natties.
Yeah,
they're about that.
We respect it. We respect
But
it.
they are them. They are about that. But these last 2 Saturdays, I mean, listen, they lost so many players on both sides of the ball to the draft. It's a much different team this year. And obviously, we're seeing it. They're still winning football games and they're still in the AP poll, the #1 team in the country. But I have some concerns about Georgia. And maybe in January, this take ages poorly, but that's just what I see from them right now. They're playing. I don't think they're playing up to their standards and what the expectations are for a Georgia Bulldogs Kirby Smart led program.
Yeah, going into the year, I thought that they would have a chance to repeat. They're obviously, obviously undefeated still, but I don't see that happening. I really
Me
don't.
neither.
I really don't.
Excuse me. Excuse me
But
about that.
I think we both agree that they're number 3.
Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to agree to that. But yeah, now let's move on.
Yeah, let's move
To
on to something we
what
don't
is
re-
going on?
we don't really want to talk about it.
What is
We
going on?
don't. But Saturday was we said this about 2 weeks ago. I said the BYU loss was one of the worst of Sam Pittman's tenure, and here we are 2 weeks later, and I am saying that's not true. The
It
game
was
on Saturday was the worst loss of Sam Pittman's tenure, and it was
it's
absolutely disgusting.
in the
I
worst.
was vomiting. I saw KJ Jefferson and I started vomiting.
Wow.
Yes. I I said this last week and I'm going to say it again. I feel so bad for that man. He is putting his all into that game and he's not getting anything out of it. He obviously didn't have a great performance regardless of how his offensive line played on Saturday. But if you don't even give him a chance, if you don't even give him a chance to be himself, to be one of those top quarterbacks in the SEC, like you don't give your team a chance. He is your best player. If you're not giving your best player a chance to make plays, I don't understand how you think you're going to win. I don't.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
how do you why do you how do you expect to win every Saturday and you go in every Saturday thinking you're going to win. You have that mentality, but if you know in the back of your mind, we're not going to be able to win because we can't give this guy any time. We can't give this guy any time. This man has like zero point 0.2 seconds, zero point 0.2 seconds to get the ball out of his hands. I think there was 8 sacks on Saturday. 8, 7,
There was a
8,
lot. There was a ton of. I think it was. I think that it finished with 7. I'm
and
about 99.9% sure it was 7.
yeah, credit to the Texas A&M defense because they showed me that they were a lot better than I thought they were. But
Right.
you should not give up that many sacks to any team in college.
Listen,
Any team.
if you're not going to win by getting sacked 7 times unless you were Joe Burrow against the Tennessee Titans in 2022. That's the only time. I mean, like, a quarterback can only thrive off of an offense as much as his offensive line provides him because the offensive line might be the most important position on the field besides the quarterback. Because if you don't have a line that's letting time to let plays develop or to give the quarterback a chance to do anything, you're not going to win football games that way. You're not.
Yeah, and I thought it was better. I thought it was better. We looked perfectly fine in Baton Rouge. Obviously, you had the penalties, but
There was
really
no
didn't
penalties this week on the
really.
offensive end either.
Yeah, you can't get everything to click at the same time. Like you obviously fixed. Maybe you spent your entire practice working on not getting penalties because it was obvious the blocking was not practiced. It's
For
obvious.
sure.
Yeah.
And now there's being more changes. They're moving. Patrick Kudus is taking center 1 snaps. I think they're moving Brady Latham around there. I mean, they're switching a lot of these guys around. Listen, at least there's going to be some adjustments being made because listen, I said this earlier before we got on here, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If the Arkansas Razorbacks want to get on a roll, especially from the offensive line, they need to make changes because what they have right now isn't working for them.
Yeah, and if you don't make changes, nothing's gonna happen.
Exactly.
We've seen it all year.
Dude, I
They
want to
struggle.
really kill this bug. I didn't mean to
I
interrupt you,
saw
but
it. I saw it
there's a
flying
bug.
around.
There's a bug flying around here. I need
Smack
to
'em.
get him.
Oh!
We
Oh!
got him! Oh, let's go!
Wait, do you think we're gonna get? Wait, we think we're gonna get like struck down for like killing someone on?
It's a bug.
No, but back to what I was saying. If you don't change anything, it's gonna keep being the same thing. You've seen the same. It's been the same result every single game. We struggled against FCS schools, FBS schools, you name it. We're probably gonna struggle against them. We'll probably struggle against my um, little sister's 4-year-old Pee Wee team.
Wow.
Yeah. So this they could not. They can't block anything. They can't block. They cannot block anything. Anything. So hopefully, and I say this. I say hopefully, I have about this much hope that this is going to happen.
Nice.
Hopefully something changes. If not, you might as well go ahead and book us for 4-8 because we're not going anywhere with that offensive line. I'm sorry.
Oh, for sure. But listen, hey, Will, there's another one on the wall. Should I try? Should I go 2 for 2?
2 for 2. Come on. Oh, come on. Got it. Missed it.
No, we missed it. We missed it.
We need to put viewer
discretion advised. We're
headphones. Headphone.
I know
warning.
headphone warnings too. Yeah, we were
My
really
bad.
loud about that one. No, whatever. It's a gnat. It's annoying, but you know what? We're gonna move on. Listen, the defense is also struggling as well. They were allowing a lot of big plays, and the problem is they're also being given the short end of the field, but they're not getting the offense back on the field. I was just in the press conference, and Jaden Johnson said that their mentality is just to try and go in there and get the offense back on the field, but they're struggling to do that against anyone. Max Johnson, who's the backup quarterback, did a really great job of thriving out of the pocket, and on crucial third downs, he was taking what the defense gave him. He used his legs, he got outside the pocket, he just found the open receiver. He also had time to let plays develop. Can you just imagine what KJ Jefferson would do if he had an offensive line that let plays develop? It's unfortunate. We talked about it in a Twitter space on Saturday after the loss. KJ has spent his whole career here. Pretty sure he's a fifth-year senior now. And there's never been enough talent around him. I remember, obviously, in the 2021 year, they were the 8th best team in the nation. That team had, like, Traylon Burks and Bumper Pool and someone else. Who was that other dude that
Garrett Morgan.
He's on the Broncos now.
Oh, Drew Sanders.
Yes, Drew Sanders. Thank you. And now, I mean, that was probably one of the more talented teams because those were all guys who went in the draft. Traylon was the first pick for the Titans at 16 whenever they traded AJ Brown. And I think that I forgot his name. Sanders, yes, Drew Sanders. I can't remember how early he went, but I think he went earlier.
Second round, I think.
I think he was second round. Seems about right. And then I don't know what round Bumper Pool went in. I feel like he
didn't get drafted.
Oh,
yeah. Oops. But he's good though. He was good.
But there hasn't been enough talent surrounding a star quarterback, and now here's the thing. College football is going to transfer more into almost an NFL type setting where the transfer portal is obviously a very active place. It's a very active strategy for if there's it's very talented quarterbacks who don't have talent around them. It could be any position, but there's quarterbacks out there who are in a situation they don't like. They can just say, you know what, I'm out. I still got my NIL deal because I'm a 5-star quarterback. I'm going to go somewhere else.
KJ Jefferson has one more year if he wants.
Really?
Jefferson, yeah. And I will cry if he goes somewhere like TCU, goes somewhere like Ole Miss, Mississippi State. He's from Mississippi.
I know.
I think there's a little bit of bad blood between him and Ole Miss, but if he goes to Mississippi State and just lights us up.
Well, Will Rogers is expected to go this year if I'm correct.
Yeah, so I would be like
with what KJ has done so far, I don't know if if there's going to be a lot of teams who are willing to take a bet on him. Maybe a late 6th or 7th round team. Listen, KJ Jefferson has so much raw talent, but from what I've seen, it seems like he really holds on to the ball for too long and is slow to read defenses. And listen, I'm not a SEC starting quarterback, nor will I probably ever will be. If I do that in the next 2 years, something amazing happened. But I'm not going to be one to say, oh, yeah, KJ Jefferson's a bad quarterback, because he's not at all. But there's obviously flaws in his game that need to be improved. And if he wants to be on an NFL roster, things like that, having to read a defense efficiently and quickly, that's got to be something that translates, because that I feel like that's a struggle that we've seen in his game so far, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. I know he can take the sleep. I know he has the ability to take the sleep. He's a hard worker. Like I said, so much raw talent. But I think if he goes somewhere else, he's going to thrive.
Yeah, the hardest thing is because you don't have a good offensive line. He has to be able to do that, right? And
And he can.
He can't. So the combination of him being slow to his reads, and then the combination of a rough offensive line,
they go hand in hand.
It doesn't equal success. It does not. So if he wants to take that leap to the next level, he's gonna have to get that fix. He's gonna have to.
I crushed him with my finger. The dude was just sitting there, and I was like, we got 2 guys. The bug counter is active today.
Yeah, we need a bug counter on the.
Okay. Do I go for 3 right now?
Come for the sports, stay for the hunting, I guess. Wow.
3.
No, he's still alive.
I just flicked him.
I saw him crawling on there.
Josh, listen, we got a double tap. If you guys seen Zombieland, some of y'all might be too young to know Zombieland. Rule number 2, double tap. It applies to the bugs as well, not just the zombies.
We've kind of got all the struggles, all of the pain out of that last segment there. I just want to kind of preview Ole Miss.
Let's do it.
It's going to be based off how they played last week. It's going to be a very what's the word?
One-sided.
Interesting game. And I mean that sarcastically.
It's not going to be interesting.
If
it's interesting, I hope it is. You know, for our sake,
yeah,
for the university,
I really do.
I hope it is. Listen, this is college football. I don't know how many times I've said this. Any given Saturday, anyone can win. Doesn't matter where you are, who the teams are, or what their record is. Anyone can beat anyone.
Is that going to happen on Saturday? Probably.
We don't think so.
Ole Miss probably played their best game of the season last Saturday,
Yeah.
which means it probably can't go up anymore, right?
I think
can only go down.
Here, Will. Listen, LSU guy here. That was the worst performance by the LSU secondary I've ever seen in my lifetime. I have seen some good LSU secondaries. We used to be the CB school. We are not the CB school anymore.
They don't have Honey Badger out there anymore.
We don't have Honey Badger. We don't have Derek Stingley Jr. We don't have Pat Pete. Like, listen, one of our top defensive guys is Major Burns. And you know what? The Ole Miss offense majorly burned the secondary. I mean, come on now. When we let up 700 yards and 55 points, we are not going to win football games when you let up 700 yards.
Well, neither is Arkansas. If they
no
give up,
chance.
They're not,
no chance.
If they played against LSU like that, think about how they're going to play. They're going to drop 90 on them. Now, if Arkansas does drop 90, I will officially be entering the transfer portal.
Yeah, if Arkansas drops 90, we're going to be like,
we will be deleting this channel. We will be making a new one. It will not be called the HogCast anymore because
the Tiger's Cage.
No.
Yeah. That's it.
But yeah, I don't even know how I feel about this game. Maybe we catch Ole Miss kind of coming down off the momentum. Maybe they got really, really high right there, and then just But
listen, it is very possible because I mean, listen, when you are a team who has a lot of momentum and is coming off a big win, it is very possible to overlook and then get caught in a trap game. I mean, I know this is a completely different league, but Dallas Cowboys, for example, they had 2 great wins against the New York Giants and Jets, and then obviously losing Trayvon Diggs, but they still felt good about themselves the way the team was playing. They go into Arizona, and then Joshua Dobbs cooks them. I mean, listen, it's very possible. Trap games are a very real thing. Do I expect Arkansas to go in there with heat? Not really, but listen, these are two. Ole Miss is the top scoring offense in the SEC, and KJ Jefferson and the Razorbacks can go in there and they can put 30 up, but I just don't know how that defense is going to hold. Obviously, I do believe that at least on paper that the Arkansas secondary is better than LSU's, so I think there's definitely some improvement there, at least from Ole Miss's offensive perspective and something else to scheme for. But I still don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. This Ole Miss offense is so explosive, and they do so many different things. They're able to thrive off the RPO. They have two great running backs. Jackson Dart can use his legs. I mean, they're just a very versatile team when it comes to the offense. And I just think that it's a very rare chance that Arkansas could catch them on their heels, but I think just Ole Miss is going to continue what they're doing, and they're not going to let it up easy.
Yeah, one thing I will say, though, and just at least in my lifetime of being an Arkansas fan, the game between Arkansas and Ole Miss has always been a close one. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter how good Arkansas is, how bad Arkansas is, how good Ole Miss is, how bad they are. It's always been close. There's been some crazy games in my life. So I know I'm saying I think we're going to get blown out, but I also, in the back of my mind, know that it probably will be a whole lot closer than everyone thinks, just because there's something in the water when they play. There's like some type of voodoo or something. I don't know, but
listen. It's Jerry Jones affiliated teams. They win the games that they shouldn't win, but lose games they shouldn't lose.
Yeah,
the Jerry Jones curse. It's real. It's very real.
We'll just
put Jimmy Johnson see in the Wing of Honor.
Yeah, we'll just see, because if all else fails, this is probably the
defining point of the season.
This is the knife. The dagger.
Yeah, it really could, because when you look at the rest of the schedule, at least from right now, there's not really any other games if they lose this week that feel winnable. You could get Mississippi State at home, and then Florida just dropped a big game to Kentucky.
I think they could beat Auburn.
They could. Oh, no, man, I like the way Auburn hung with Georgia.
If they lose against Florida Atlantic, I'll be, like I said earlier, I will be entering the fan transfer portal.
Is that Florida Atlantic or Florida International?
Florida International. Sorry, Florida International.
I want to say
the Panthers. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Because which one of them was in like the Final Four this year? Was it FAU or FIU?
FAU. Yeah, FAU.
That's right. It was Florida Atlantic. Yeah.
Yeah. We lose to them. I'm gonna have to have some
in Razorback Stadium too. I can't imagine what this place would be like.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have. Well, Sam Pittman would be gone. First thing. If that doesn't happen,
the students would go pack his bags.
Yeah, I will. Please, I will start for U-Haul.
That is insane.
That day.
That is insane.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. If they lose that game, and I don't think they will. I pray and hope they don't. But if they do, I'm gonna have to have like a sit down conversation with myself and be like, you need to do something else for your
some better life choices
for your mental health, because
put on the purple and white and yellow.
No.
Yeah.
The worst thing the only thing I won't do is put on the purple, white, and yellow. That ain't happening.
I think next year when this podcast is like even bigger, I think we have to place a bet. I think if we place this bet now, if whatever it looks like next year, because listen, Jaden Daniels is probably going to be gone next year. So listen, if LSU wins next year, I think that you should wear an LSU jersey the week podcast after that game. And listen, also, the game is here. The game is in Fayetteville. So we both go to the game.
We'll think about it.
You know, if Arkansas loses, I think you should have to wear an LSU jersey on the pod. I'll think about
it through the offseason. I'll think about it
through the offseason. He's got because he might enter the transfer portal this year. Arkansas may not be a thing to him next year.
We're gonna see how Arkansas does in the transfer portal, and that'll kind of.
That's also true, because they have despised everything of all the criticism that Coach Pittman is receiving. They've done a great job at the transfer portal. 18 recruits this year, and really some of the major pieces of that of that team. They got the wide receiver room of Armstrong and Tesla, and they got the CB room as well in Jaheim Singletary and Al Walcott, and there was someone else, I can't remember who it was. That I literally wrote an article about it, but still, there's a lot of talent, and they're doing a great job at acquiring talent, but it's not translating. But someone also said on Twitter that Sam Pittman took over for the worst time of Arkansas football, right in COVID year with nothing to work for. He's shown some results, but we need consistent results, and that's not what we're receiving.
I think I saw. This is another thing I saw on Twitter. Someone said that Sam Pittman was like the Mike Anderson of football.
Right.
Seems like obviously a great person, great personality, someone you want your kids to play for if you're parents.
Right.
They took their team from the absolute depths of hell, right?
Pretty much.
Chad Morris and that was the worst spot our football team has ever been, and he pulled us out. But I think he just kind of peaked. I think he kind of
now they need to step up. You have to go. You mean like, listen, it's a business.
You gotta go find your Eric Musselman of football.
Exactly.
Now,
and
that's gonna be hard because obviously, because there's no Eric Musselman of football. But
exactly,
you gotta go find you an up and coming guy. You're gonna have to throw a bag at him. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to pay them the money.
And they could have gotten Dion a few years ago. They interviewed him twice, supposedly.
Yeah. You could have got him. You could have got Lane Kiffin.
We could have gotten Kiffin.
Could have got Mike Norvell. They were this close to hiring Norvell. Really, 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 really close before they hired Chad Morris. You got to go find you one of those guys who's on the up and coming. I was pretty optimistic about Pittman, and then I saw this game on Saturday and realized I don't think that he has a future here any longer.
And it's unfortunate.
So I think we're gonna get to that point where we're gonna have to be talking about people we want on here.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a tough conversation.
It's gonna be. It's happened so many times in my life that I'm just kind of used to it. Yeah. I think we've had like 5-6 coaches in my lifetime for Arkansas, so and all of them have been pretty mediocre outside of Bobby Petrino.
Yep. So and Bobby Petrino took everything again. Took everything out on the Razorbacks last weekend.
Yeah, he did. So we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna be talking about who we want in about 6 weeks, maybe.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I do not think that Sam Pittman has that much longer of a tenure here,
unless he just performs some sort of movie miracle. I wouldn't doubt that he's here that he's not the coach of the Razorbacks next year.
Yeah, he's on track right now, I think, to probably go 5-7, 4-8, and that's just not good.
He's got to turn it around, and in a very tough schedule, it's going to be hard to turn it around for sure.
With all the talent that you have, 5-7 or 4-8 is not acceptable.
Very underwhelming.
Not acceptable.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk a little bit basketball. We said we were going to talk basketball last week.
Let's talk some basketball.
Your boy here, Ty, got to watch a little bit of the Arkansas practice. Go ahead and
I did.
Go ahead and give us some details about that.
As soon as I walked into the practice facility, I mean, it is just this team. It feels different. There are no gaps. There are no outlying needles in the haystack flaws of this team. They've been missing they've been missing spacing and spot up shooters. They've been missing size, but they have multiple guys over 6'9", 6'10" this year. They struck out in the transfer portal to get spot up shooters. They brought in Khalif Battle. They brought in Jeremiah Davenport. First of all, this team is very loud. They are very vocal. Coach Muss brings in a different type of energy where he's unified everyone. Everyone is calling out plays. They're calling out motivation, calling out tactics. They are all active, all vocal, and they are all one. And I think just that vocal exercise shows how unified this team is, where, he's Coach Muss calls a play and they all repeat it. just to show that, like, hey, we are in sync. We are on the same page. This is what's going on. But it was so fun to go in there and watch some of those guys up close. I mean, Trayvon Brazil, we know how talented he is. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to see him practice, but he was standing on the sidelines for most of the live play when the scrimmages were taking place. But he did a very great job of staying vocal, of providing advice, and he said he's really adapted as a player coach role over the course of the offseason while rehabbing that ACL injury. But someone I got to watch was Khalif Battle, and you obviously got to do that interview with him a little while ago. This dude is he's so smooth. He's so quick. He's like silky whenever the ball is in his hands. He knows how to get to the rim. He can play make. He can control the pace, and he can shoot it from beyond the arc. Also, I can't remember what his name was, but Justin, I don't know what his last name is. I'm blanking. Number 5 for us. What's his name?
Joseph Pinion.
Yes, thank you. I got to see him shoot the lights out. I mean, consistently, he was open, he was knocking it down. He was contested, he was knocking it down. He displayed so much effort, so much resilience. There was that extra gear that he was in during that practice. He was leaving it all out on the floor, and all of them were. I mean, this team, they got a work ethic, and Coach Muss, obviously, we all know that legacy that he has already in a short time in Arkansas. It's only going to get better. This team is definitely better, I believe, maybe, at least on paper, than what we had last year. Yes, we had so many kids who, were top recruits, Nick Smith Jr., Anthony Black, those two, for example. And they were top guys coming out of their classes. But now this team feels very complete. And listen, most of the previous national champions, they aren't just a bunch of freshmen and sophomores who were 5 stars, 4 stars, who are winning championships. No, I mean, they are the most experienced teams. They have veterans. They're well-rounded. They have no standout flaws. They have everything on the paper that you would want on a basketball team. And Arkansas has that this year. And they could go, because we all know how they get when it comes to March. Yes, I would like to see them thrive more in the regular season. I'd like to see more consistency, and maybe even hard enough to where we could get one of those top seeds in the bracket. But even if we kind of fall in that 6 to 8 range like we have in previous years, this is a good team. It's a good team, and they can really take on anyone. And March Madness, it's March Madness. We all know what it's like. We all know that FAU went to the Final Four, and last year there was no number 1 seed. So we all know what it's like. In Arkansas, whenever it comes to March, they turn it up a notch, and they turn on that jukebox. And it is going to be fun to see what this team is going to do.
I know I, for one, will be in the house for the red-white game.
You are too?
Wednesday, yeah. I think there's
I'm going. I'm going. Ty's sending me.
So I mean, this will be out after the red-white game, so we'll talk about that. Talk about that next week. But I'm excited. I'm really hyped. This is probably the most hyped that I've been for a red-white game, and I'm not one who normally goes to the red-white games, but ever since basketball started like heating up and really getting good, I can't miss it. I cannot miss it.
They're fun to watch, man.
I don't care that it's on a Wednesday. I'll go. I'm going.
I really hope that I get the chance to cover a lot of the games, because since they're on weekdays, I feel like there's going to be some opportunities for me to go, and I'm really excited to watch this team in Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, this team's going to be special.
It is going to be fun. I really like what this team is.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get into our Week 6 college football picks.
Prediction time.
Let's go ahead and start with, in my opinion, the game of the week. Could also possibly be the game of the year. We always know it's going to be a good one when these two teams face off. Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River rivalry.
Come on, say it faster. Come on.
Red River.
No. The Red River rivalry.
What's your thoughts? Let's hear your pick.
Texas.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Texas too. I do like Oklahoma.
I think it'll be close though.
I think
these are two. Two
Go ahead.
electric offenses. And I think that this is going to be a game that could be a shootout. Obviously, it's always in a neutral site, it's always hostile. So I think this could be a game that is going to be a shootout. Two quarterbacks. Obviously, Quinn Ewers, we all know what he's made of, but Dylan Gabriel and the Sooners have really exceeded expectations so far this season. I think this could be a really fun matchup, but I wouldn't be shocked to see OU get a win. No, I wouldn't be.
No, I wouldn't. They're kind of flying under the radar this year. Everyone kind of expected them to be a little bit worse than what they're at right now, and they're kind of showing out.
Yeah.
I'll start with the next game. Kentucky and Georgia. This game is at Georgia. If it was at Kentucky, I would go out on a limb and say I'm going to go ahead and take the Wildcats. But because it is in Athens at night, I'm just going to go ahead and pick Georgia. It seems like the safe pick. But I do like Kentucky this year. I really do. I think they're a really good team. I think they're underrated.
I'm right there with you. I think if it was in Kroger Field, then Kentucky could definitely go out there and get a win because this Kentucky team is playing really good football. But like you said, Athens at night, I wouldn't be shocked though if Kentucky went in there and gave them an L because obviously, as we talked about earlier, Georgia has really played to their opponents' standards and not their own. So I wouldn't be shocked if Kentucky went in there and got a win, but I am going to take Georgia to go out there and get a dub in primetime football.
We got another kind of a maybe sneaky good game. Notre Dame and Louisville. Louisville, they're undefeated so far.
And they're in the rankings.
Another team going under a little bit of the radar there. And then you got Notre Dame. In my opinion, I've said this from the beginning of the season. I think even with the loss to Ohio State, I think they can still make the college football playoff. They may have to have a couple things fall their way. They have to beat USC. But I still think personally that Notre Dame will still make the college football playoff. They can't lose this game if that's the case. Give me the Fighting Irish.
Yep, right there with you. Gave me the Fighting Irish and Sam Hartman. I think he's going to continue having a Heisman level case this season.
You go ahead and start us off with this next one.
Let's get it.
You're a homer. Be honest, you are. You're a homer.
Yep.
But
listen,
a really weird Mizzou team. I don't really know how to feel about them. I can't tell if they're good or actually
how are they
horrible.
ranked above LSU? Listen, I get it that LSU lost to Ole Miss, but they didn't lose by like 20 to Ole Miss. Like they lost at the last second to Ole Miss, and none of that is on Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels in this offense have played extremely well, but their defense is doing them no favors. If their defense was like 40% better than they are now, this team would be undefeated and they'd probably be in the top 10, top 6 maybe if their defense was good because they could have beat FSU and they definitely could have beat Ole Miss. If the defense was any good, this team would definitely be like top 6. Jaden Daniels would be in the Heisman conversation because he's playing really great football. LSU's going to go in there and they're going to respond. The Mizzou offense obviously isn't nearly as electric to what Ole Miss did. And I think this is a game where Jaden Daniels says, screw you guys, I'm doing this myself.
It's a really, really weird game.
It is.
I have no idea how this one's going to play out. I could honestly see Mizzou pulling out a win. It's at Mizzou. But I'm going to go ahead and take the safe pick. I think LSU's they're going to come back from that loss last week. Go ahead and give me the Tigers. LSU Tigers, not Mizzou Tigers.
Yeah, it's Battle Tigers. Yeah.
And then the last one could also end up being a really, really good game. Texas A&M didn't play their best on Saturday. Still handled Arkansas pretty easily. They get Bama in Kyle Field. Pretty sure that's a night game.
I think it is.
I can see A&M. You know what?
Nope, it is not a night game. It is a 2:30 game.
Oh, that's the CBS game. Knowing that, oh man, I don't know. Alabama's been so inconsistent this year. I can't.
I know. I could see Texas A&M squeaking out a win, especially if Connor Wegman is back under center. Even if he's not, Max Johnson has played well.
Yeah,
Max Johnson is not a bad quarterback.
I am going to
Brady
last week.
Like I said, I think it's just a safe bet to go with Alabama. They're Alabama, but listen, Texas A&M is a sneaky team to go out there and upset Bama. I mean, I feel like they always get one win every year where they shouldn't win, but they go out and they like get a crazy win. Last year it was LSU that they beat.
We've had pretty much the same picks so far. I hate saying it.
You're gonna go against me.
Give me the Texas A&M Aggies to beat Alabama at Kyle Field. Come back to this after it happens.
I'm making a soundbite if this ages poorly. I'm making a soundbite no matter what.
Okay. If it happens, you heard it from me. Listen, let me pull this up right here. Actually, let me pull it up. You guys, let me just show you guys here. My college pick'ems. I'm cooking, man. I'm cooking. And I don't know if you guys can see this right here. 37-13 on the year, boys.
He's cooking.
You guys, listen. You guys do not want to ignore what I'm saying. You want to listen to what I'm saying because I've obviously got something going if I'm 37-13 on the year.
He's feeling good about himself. He's
me.
Feeling so good about himself that he's willing to take one of those crazy risks that is not going to pan out. No chance.
I'm like top 1,000 in the world out of like 2+ million playing the game.
Look at you, Will. Look at Will. Yes, sir.
Let me cook.
We'll see what happens if he cooks the rest of this week. If you guys did enjoy this third episode of the HogCast, like I said, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Keep on growing. Share this with some friends. Let's get it out there. We're working hard, and we're going to continue working hard. Thank you guys for all support that we've received over these last few weeks, and we're going to keep coming at you with the best, funniest, and freshest youth aspect on Razorback and college sports. Until next week, this is Ty and Will. We are signing off, and we will see you guys next week.